get you, Cat. I promise I am coming to you. And determined not to embarrass yourself further, you swipe nastily with your claws. What damage do you do?
I've rolled a 4 on the d4. Do I add dexterity or strength for the unarmed strike? I'm not sure.
It's strength.
I'll let you add your dex, though, because you're doing this in a dexterous...
That would be 9 damage, then.
Perfect. So you sink your claws into it, and they go deep into the squishy flesh. It kind of oozes around. And as you both collide back with the floor, you've got it grasped. It's limp. Its claws are not fighting back anymore. Your toy is dead.
I'll still shake it.
Okay. Ishmael, we're now going to drop combat so you guys can hop in at any point, as you're now alone in this round room, with the exception of Bliss. Who I imagine we'll be joining you very shortly.
I'm watching all of this happen going, okay, that worked out well. Do I recognize this thing that Ivy is playing with and that attacked Bane?
Make an Arcana or History check.
Okay. My favorite enemies are elementals and fae. So if it's one of those two, then I would get an advantage. No. Okay. That's going to be a 15.
Okay, on a 15, you believe, seeing this thing and seeing the creatures on the other side, that this again is a corruption. It's an aberration. It's a creature that apparently has an effect on the minds of people. Seeing the effects on Ivy, you believe that she has been compromised intellectually. She's not acting as herself. She's acting instinctually with her wisdom.
Right.
And she's not communicating in a normal Ivy way. And as such, in the back of your mind, you've heard of something that devours intellect. A creature with brain and claws. And you believe that's what this is.
All right. So I'm going to pass that information on to the rest of the group. Whatever it was, it's dead. But it appears to have done something, let's just say devoured the intellect, shall we, of Ivy. Ivy's a cat at the moment, I believe, acting on pure instinct. So...
Meanwhile, I'm eating the thing and...
You have actually fulfilled what you believe the master in your head, the minion who whispers, told you to do, and not embarrass yourself because you've succeeded in killing this creature that was harming your friend. I'd like you to make another intelligence save.
Better. My intelligence is 0 though, so I don't add anything to it. No. It's 16 rolled.
16. If you have proficiency, then you'd add proficiency to it. But
I have to check.
Is she within 10 feet of me? No?
You're on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
Would I be able to cast guidance on her before she does that? Probably not, right?
It doesn't work on savings throws anyway.
Oh, true,
true.
It's just for checks.
But 16 is not bad.
16.
16 is
Alright, on a 16, what does Ivy the Tabaxi say to Ivy the cat in this moment?
Well, still useful. You're lying on the floor. Get up. Before more people see you that way.
Okay, and I'm going to assume that Ivy the cat has enough pride that they are going to get up and kind of lick their paws clean, tidy themselves up.
Yeah, on a 16, the cat will listen to the voice. To the more civilized voice and spit out the pink thing and just sit and wait and yeah.
What is everyone else doing? Bliss, what are you doing on the other side of the door?
Real quick.
I would like...
Sorry. I want to cover up the end of the rope now.
Okay.
It's going to stay lit for an hour, but I'm going to take a piece of cloth, tie it over the light so that it's not shining, and then I'll coil it back up.
Okay.
and use my movement to move across the room.
Okay, that's fine. You're going to move up to where Ivy is?
Yes.
Okay. Bliss.
Okay. I'm gonna just carefully, slowly, not really making direct eye contact with the monsters, just inch backwards towards the door, open it, and then go inside.
As you do, the creatures have crept uncomfortably close to you, and they lean, and they peer in to see what's in the door beyond. And as you step through, the door slams in their faces, and you're in the room with your party.
Sorry about that. What did I miss?
I'm happily purring in a corner.
And you see Bane just like having like a piece of cloth, just like getting some of the scratches just to see how bad it is.
Ishmael is scratching Ivy between the ears.
And Bane will basically kneel down in front of Ivy and just see if she can still talk to her, because I can talk to beasts, basically. They will understand what I say, so I will just try and just like nod your head if you understand me, Ivy.
Do I count as a beast? Do I understand that?
I will say, for this, you count as a beast.
Okay.
I nod.
Are
And then
you,
cock my head.
are you hurt?
No.
Okay. We will try to fix this. Just stay close to us. Keep an eye on us. And I will just ruffle her head. Just like her a little bit. Would we have any idea what happened to her?
To the cat bit where I just suddenly have no neck and sink back.
Ishmael did tell you that they believed their brain had been affected and she was acting on pure instinct right now, that it was something to do with the creature. Ishmael believed. The creature is dead.
With the light out, it's dark in
It is.
here.
Pretty much pitch black in here, especially with the smashed glass, which was providing illumination previously.
I will light a torch.
As you light the torch, an alarm sounds. It's literally like a fire bell, like a heavy hammer is banging on a bell, setting off an alert. There is a red light which pulses in the room. And behind you in the barn, you hear a cacophony of animals who have been disturbed by either the alarm or by the scent of flame. And on the floor, all around the circular room, glyphs are lighting up. And through these glyphs, fire is beginning to pulse.
I will basically get the torch out again.
The room remains.
I was afraid so. The alarm is also still going.
Yeah, it's still going ding 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 ding.
I'm sorry, guys.
I don't like it.
Yes, for you, Lydia, with your sensitive kitty cat ears, this is not a fun noise. And the floor is lighting up, and there's a light pulsing, and it's a very intense situation for you. Even with
I'm doing my best to calm the cat.
I will try. The glyphs, is that anything I can read or signs I recognize?
roll me an Arcana check. Or what languages do you speak, is the other question.
I speak Common, Halfling, Druidic, Elven, and Sylvan.
Okay, I will keep that in mind.
And I will cast Guidance on myself.
Perfect.
Which will not help. Jesus. Nope. Arcana, that's a 9.
9. Alright, with a 9, looking down, you actually feel like you should know what these symbols are. There's something druidic in what is written here. It is some form of probably nature magic that's been tied into these glyphs. You can't discern what their purpose is. You can, however, discern that the floor is getting hotter in here.
Awesome. And there's nothing to... Basically, the whole floor is covered. No safe spaces.
Pretty much no. The whole floor is slowly getting warmer. It's not that every bit of floor has like a glyph on it. There's just giant glyphs, but all of the floor is heating up like concrete in the hot sun, as these glyphs kind of glow with like a fiery presence.
Is it on the wall as well?
No.
I will climb the wall.
Okay. Ash,
There
up
a
the-
door, like a way out. That's not the way we came. Maybe.
You cannot see another door bar the one through which you came. However, as you turn to look at that door, you see rock moving over it, as the door is being consumed, apparently, by the rest of the wall of the room.
Well, at least nothing can follow us.
Just question, how big is the room?
The room is about 100 feet in diameter.
That's good. Thank you.
That's what, like 300 foot around? Something like that? About that. Hashtag pie.
Math hands.
You make investigations to look for other ways out, but just using like your passives. At the
Mhm.
moment, the door is being consumed, the floor is heating up.
Yeah, I definitely want to find a way to either neutralize it at the very least or just get out.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, that's awful. I hate that.
No one
I
at
don't
the-
see any. The 5.
Is anyone close to the door that is slowly closing up?
Bliss,
I just
if
came
you
out of
place
it.
Can I yell, Bliss, get out of the way? Just to get
Yeah.
away from the door?
Got it.
And when she's far enough away, I would cast Erupting Earth right at the front of the door. It's a 20 feet radius.
Mm-hmm.
So since it's not a person, it can't do a save. The dex save would be difficult for a door.
Yep.
So it will take 3d12 bludgeoning damage, and I hope that this will maybe stop, break, or something like that, and maybe even destroy a glyph or so.
Okay.
Let's see. That is not bad. That is an 11 and a 12. So 23, 25 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay, the earth in front of the door erupts. Is it like a round shape, a cube?
It's a cube.
Okay, so a great chunk of earth erupts, the glyph torn apart. The bottom of the door seems to splinter, creating only about a foot opening, although the wall continues to close across it. However, where that glyph has been ripped from the floor, you see beneath a chasm in which there does appear to be a fire burning, and it flares up the moment that earth releases before dropping back down.
Great.
Through the 1 foot gap, you see the eye of one of those creatures peering as it's trying to figure out if it can fit through the gap that you've just made, even as the earth is trying to close over it.
So that will not work.
Ishmael, what are you doing?
All right. Ishmael is kicking themselves for being stupid and is going. Is still trying to calm Ivy by petting Ivy, and as petting Ivy, he's casting protection from evil and good on them. hoping that will help Ivy maybe possibly check off some of these effects, at least prevent them for the next couple of minutes from being affected. I'd like to then do a perception check looking for a hidden door or way out of here.
Okay, so that would be an investigation
All right.
as you actively hunt for a hidden door.
That is a natural 20, so 24.
Okay, so what happens as you're petting Ivy and you cast the spell, you actually end up looking up at this wall and then across to the ceiling. And directly above the rock, which had the Intellect Devourer in a jar, is a circular trapdoor, which was not easily visible from the ground, but you just see it up there in the gloom, this tiny ring of extra shadow.
Okay. I point it out to everybody. I say, that's our way out. How high is the ceiling?
It's about 50 feet.
How tall is the rock?
It's only about 2-3 feet.
Okay. That's our way out. See if we can find a way to get out.
Ding 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 ding.
I start climbing.
Crack as another part of the floor, alongside where the earth had been shattered, just falls away into the chasm below.
Using my movement, I'm going to try and convince Ivy to come with me and towards the rock.
Can I, it's within range. Well, shit, that doesn't do me any good because I couldn't.
Nation, don't leave us. We'll help you with Arabella. We promise. Yes, we promise. We know
I
where they are. The people.
I will turn back and I will say it
in this hole.
in a low, guttural voice. Quiet. And I'll just give them a look, and my eyes will flare bright white. Quiet. No more. And then I'll turn back, and I'll say, I'm sure we all have rope and such. Because I've got some on me, I'll grab, hey, someone else give me your rope.
I will hand you my rope.
Okay, what I want to do is use Dimension Door to bamf above that trapdoor.
Okay. Before you do that, I need to go back to a different page because I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Oh shit.
What are these things called again? I knew I should have printed them out, but I just like flicking backwards and forwards from a book and spotting new monsters I can use. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
You have a +3.
Okay.
Actually, I need you to make 2. Sorry.
Shitballs and monkey fucks. Okay, so
+3.
so +3, that's a 16.
Okay.
And a 14.
Okay, you feel the gazes upon you of the creatures you have silenced, and you feel their anger and their hurt and their hatred reach into your mind, and you see the darkness seeping from that inner pupil down towards you, and you steel yourself, and as it touches you, that oozing vapor, it just dissipates, and you resist their gazes.
And we'll say to them, there's time for flirting later.
Okay, a new dimension door up.
Boop. And
What is the conditions that you can just go anywhere?
it is. It's a place I have to be able to visualize. Where's the? I have 20 tabs here. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not very good at bards. I haven't really played one very much. So.
Oh, no big deal. Okay, you can teleport yourself to any spot in range, which is 500 feet. You arrive at exactly the spot desired. It can be a place you can see or visualize, or one you can describe by stating distance and direction. You can bring objects along if their weight doesn't exceed your carrying capacity. You can also bring one willing creature your size or smaller who isn't over its capacity. It must be within 5 feet of you. If you arrive in an occupied space, everyone teleporting takes 46 force damage and the spell fails.
Okay, so what do you visualize? Because you don't know what is above this room.
I have an idea that there's, like, in my head, it's sort of like a small gap of a chamber, like, right above a door. I'm going to assume the door is probably the same, like, width as the door we came through. Maybe give it a little bit of extra gap. And sort of just a space above it. And just kind of like, okay, here we go.
I think you can take someone with you as well, can't you?
I can.
It's the question if you can take me with you, including my rope.
Well,
I'm
here's
small.
the thing. I can bring things along if it doesn't exceed my carrying capacity. I guess.
And
I'm
one
small.
if their carrying capacity isn't exceeded. So I don't see why you couldn't take a rope and one of the others.
Okay, yeah. Whoever would want to go.
Ding 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 ding.
Who's bad in climbing?
Just take Bane, because I can climb rope. I'm
Okay.
strong.
Okay.
I'm not, so...
Yeah. I'm not either.
So, poof. You arrive above the hatch. You are pleased to see there is a space up here, and there is air, and there's not fire, and there's not doom up here. It is, however, a very small and cramped space. The quickest your brain can assume is it's almost a space below a floor, like a crawl space. You, I imagine, push open the trapdoor,
And
drop the rope down.
Yep.
Are you going to try and anchor this to something, or are you going to hold on to it?
I would love to try to be able to anchor to something. To like wrap it around something and then something else, so like it's tied, but also if there's like a couple different posts to be able to like have a thing to like use leverage and then tie it off.
All right, I'm going to say with Bane helping you to give you advantage, looking in this crawl space for something to tie it off, give me an investigation.
Okay, and
And I will cast guidance on you.
okay, so I've rolled. Let's see, investigation, rolling up your character, bottom page. What the shit? Investigation. That is a total of a 16 plus a D4, correct?
D4, yeah.
So that is a dirty 20.
Okay, you see in this crawl space, there's kind of little crossbars that kind of support the floor above. And you can have just enough rope that you can anchor it around one and then take it across the room to anchor it around another one, and you think that's going to be secure. But it is leaving the rope very tight. There isn't a lot of slack on this.
Okay.
Well, we have 2 ropes that we can put together. So I have 50 feet, and you probably as well?
It'll be 50 feet, yeah.
Okay, make me a survival check to just make sure the knot between the 2 ropes is strong.
Okay, I would...
Whichever one of you feels their best at survival.
I'm quite good at
Yeah,
survival.
you're a druid, so I...
Okay.
I'll cast guidance on myself. All the fun of it. Which is good. That's a 19.
Okay, you tie off this rope and you are pretty sure this knot is going to hold so that your friends can safely climb up, and there's going to be no issue with the rope snapping because it's being too taut, because there's lots of slack here to work with. All right, Bliss,
Thumbs up.
Ishmael, Ivy, tell me how you get out through the trapdoor.
Can I just climb up?
I don't see why not. Just need yeah. You're gonna go up the wall or up the rope.
Up the wall, probably.
Okay, if I
rolled
could
a
just
12.
get like an athletics for going across the ceiling to the hatch.
16.
Yep, that's fine. You claw in. It takes you a little while longer, but that gives time for one of the other members to try and get up through the hole in climbing. Ishmael, do you want to go first?
Yeah, he's going to try and climb up the rope.
Okay.
Athletics?
Yep. Ding 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 ding.
And I'm ready to catch in case he drops.
Okay, that's a 12.
Okay, it is a struggle.
Yeah.
Your hands are kind of clammy because it's kind of stressful, but you're slowly making your way up. You can see Ivy crawling across the ceiling, and another part of the ground cracks in this room and falls apart, and fire radiates up. And I need everyone who is still in this room to make a dexterity save or take the damage if you wish to continue on the path you're currently on.
Am I still in the room?
You're on the ceiling, so I'll give you advantage on your dexterity save because it's a long way for the flames to reach.
And anyone in 10 feet of me has +3.
23.
How far am I up the rope?
You're probably about halfway.
Okay.
I got 10.
Dex save 19.
19. Is that with the +3 from Bliss? I'll let you have that.
22.
Okay, perfect. You all take 3 points of fire damage. As the flames, it's not so much that the flames get you, it's just that radiating heat is oppressive and it just kind of burns at the skin in like a nasty sunburn. Obviously, if you have resistance to fire damage, that's halved again to 1, because we round down. Okay. And so, in the next turn, Ishmael is going to roll me another athletics to make it the rest of the way up. Ivy, you make it up and in through this hole.
Do I still... that's going to be 2.
Plus
I rolled it down.
3 from Bliss's aura.
Okay, so 5.
Okay. You slip,
Yeah.
and you feel the rope burn just claw into your hands, ripping the skin from the palms, and you are forced to cling. Bliss below you, what do? The room is falling apart. The fire is beginning to reach up and consume. The heat in here is oppressive as it's turning slowly into a furnace.
Do I think that the rope would hold both of us? Because I'm in splint and I'm a thick person.
I think looking at this rope and having been an adventurer, you know that this rope can handle 2 people. But
Okay.
you will have the problem of Ishmael is going to be blocking your way
Yeah.
at some point on that rope.
Mm-hmm. But if I could theoretically, if I can make it up to Ishmael, could I theoretically, like, I don't know, scooch the boot up a little bit and give a boost? Mayhap?
I would let you try on a difficult athletics check, as you would have to cling to the rope and push probably with like one arm and a shoulder to try and help them up. Meanwhile, up above, you do have 3 teammates. 3 teammates looking down. You see fire trying to consume this room. The heat is rising. It's hot. It's stifling. You have Ishmael struggling to get out this rope at the moment. Bliss is still down below there somewhere. Ivy's just crawled in. What do you guys do?
We are too far away to really help, right?
You could start pulling up on the rope if you want.
Yeah,
maybe.
That would be my suggestion, is probably try and pull the rope up.
I will try to like help pull the rope up at the same time as because I saw Ishmael, he slipped. Bliss seems to be fine as far as...
Bliss is down below.
I haven't rolled a check yet.
So
I'm going to.
It's not clear to you like how well they're going to be climbing, but they seem to be coming towards the rope to start.
Okay. I will give Ishmael Bardic Inspiration. As I will belt out, and I'm not going to actually do it because I'm considerate, I will belt out the chorus of Journey's Don't Stop Believing.
Don't stop believing.
You rolled
Alright.
strength checks, guys, right? Climbing up?
Yep.
Athletics.
Athletics.
So Bane will cast her Spirit Totem. So a bear, a green glowing bear, basically hangs over you just in midair, and it gives every one of us temporary hit points, which is quite nice as well. So 12 temporary hit points for everyone.
Woohoo! Thank you.
Because, yeah, the radius should be big enough. And we all have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws.
Perfect. So what I'm going to say is both Bliss and Ishmael, you get advantage to make a final strength save at this point to try and get out the rest of the rope. This is with Lation helping, and obviously the benefit of Vicky's blessings.
Strength save or strength check?
Oh,
Or
strength-
athletics check?
Athletics check.
Okay.
I got a dirty 20 to get up.
Oh, 15. I'm going to go ahead and use the inspiration. 18 total.
Okay. You start reaching and you can feel like it's starting to slip through your hand a tiny, tiny amount and your hands are sore, but you hear Don't Stop Believing like chiming in your head. It's like the worst earworm, but it speaks to something in your soul. And you stop going, this isn't the end of your journey. This is a rope climb. Come on, Ishmael, get on with it. And you start going, and Bliss behind you it's not easy. It's still hard work to climb, but you are getting up there. You're not going to let this fire get you either. And eventually the whole party is in this crawl space between floors. And the fire and the heat is coming up through this porthole in the floor.
Close it.
Thank goodness.
Oh,
It is now pitch black in the space.
Great.
You
excellent.
still
I
feel-
uncovered the length of my, uncovered the tip of the rope so that there's
you
now
still
20.
feel the heat rising from below, and you can still hear that sound, that alarm sound. And part of you wonders if it's now just tinnitus in your head and it's never going to go away. But it's still there. And Lydia,
Yes.
what does Tabaxi Ivy say to Cat Ivy in this moment? And I need you to make another intelligence save.
That's a natural one.
Okay.
You have, if
So it doesn't really matter.
does the protection from evil and good affect on this?
No.
Okay.
Tabaxi Lydia will probably come on, let me take over. Let me take over again. And cat
The cat is the
Ivy
most
just licks a pause because they're still hurting from the fire.
Cat is like, where's the stupid voice in my head? It's just noise. It's not
Yeah.
words. Yeah. Okay. So, by the light of Ishmael's rope, you see very much that this is a crawl space. It's dusty here. There's some detritus that may have fallen down through the floorboards. There's some cobwebs from spiders and other little critters. You get the feeling like no one has ever really been up here. There was a trapdoor, an escape, but no one's ever really used it. Just looking around, it's all very kind of still and forgotten feeling. What do you do?
Look for another way out.
Yeah, I'm start crawling.
It's the theme.
Look up at however far above us and see if there's a corresponding trap cut into the ceiling.
There is not. Up above you seems to be a really tight floorboards. There aren't very many gaps, and if there are gaps, they're not shedding any light. And for a long way, far beyond the light of this rope, it just seems like more crawl space.
I could try to cut through if we don't mind doing some mild vandalism on the collector's property. Or we could crawl.
I literally looked like down at the trap door, where on the other side there's a giant like inferno. I'm like, well,
I'm tempted to. Well, do we have time for a short break? Probably not. I could use like a little bit, like
Yeah.
get a little bit of my things back, maybe.
You have the feeling in this space there's no imminent monstrous threat, but the fire and the bell below you and the heat rising suggest that you probably don't want to be stuck here very long. And so there is a risk of you staying here.
Okay,
A risk of, should this floor catch below you,
then
it would not be good.
what
But it's up to you. I'm not saying you can't, but it would be a risk.
is it?
Can I press my ear to the floor above us and listen to see if I hear anything?
Yeah, make me a perception check.
Okay.
You had a question?
11.
I was asking what is the you said we're like in a corridor almost like a crawl space corridor, or is it just like go on?
It's like a 3-foot crawl space. You literally
Okay.
would have to be down. I mean, Bane is probably about the only one who can kind of crouch and walk. Everyone else is going to be crawling.
Okay, but
On 11, Ishmael, up above, you hear a distant bubbling sound, maybe like a soup that's just being left to just like pop, 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 that kind of sound. Just distant, but you don't hear any footsteps, any monstrous sounds. It's just that's that one sound that you can really pick out. It's just this pop, pop, pop kind of sound.
All right, I'll relay that to the group. Before we cut into the floor, might as well listen to hear what's above us, but
Yeah.
I'll relay that to them.
Well, no time like the present. I don't think we're going to... Our situation is not going to get any better without
I mean, we
some
could
action.
always move down the crawl space a bit. We could always move,
Well,
check it
the-
out.
Yeah, the room was like 100 feet like across, so we've got a pretty big
Since
space of room. I mean,
since it's easy for me to move around, would it make sense? I will just like quickly try
Take
to
the
get
end of
down
rope
to
and
one
run as
end.
far as you can with it if you wanted.
Yeah, I just want to go end to end just to see if there's really no exit that we can.
Okay, how do you approach your movement? Are you doing this cautiously? Are you doing this in a rush?
I would do it in a rush. Yeah, Bane would do it in a rush. I wouldn't.
Bane, you
Bane
take
would.
the lit bit of rope because that's what you can use to see by.
Yeah.
You run out across, kind of crouched, being aware that there are beams that could hit your head. So trying to dodge those. That's where your awareness is. You're moving as quickly as you can, looking for a way out. Give me an investigation check.
And I will cast guidance on myself because it's fun, which is good. Investigation.
Yep.
That is 21.
Okay, looking around, you cannot find a door. You start to get desperate as you actually literally hit the end of your rope. The rope kind of hits its expanse. Ishmael obviously can let it go, but you know that coming back the other way might be more difficult as you don't have an actual anchor to come back and you can't see in the dark beyond the dim light that the light is giving you. You do have a look up. Oh, you said it's 16?
21.
21. Perfect. You do have a look up, and there is a floorboard above you which has a slightly wider gap than the others. And your brain, trying to think fast, trying to think escape, thinks that you could either push that out, use it as an anchor, rather than maybe using a magical mean to explode the floor. But your only way is literally to probably damage the floor in some way to get out. You do have the option of continuing to running around. There might be another space, but you don't know.
Since we are on the clock, I will run a bit back so I'm not yelling like too loudly, but basically motion everyone that I found at least a space where we could better get through.
Does everyone follow?
Mhm.
indeed.
Just
Right.
curious, would the gap be big enough for Spider and Bane to get through?
Yes.
So, guys, I could turn into Spider and at least climb out and have a look around and then basically give you a warning if something is up here. And maybe help from the other side.
Do we want to take a listen first? Just to be on the safe side before.
Ding 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 ding.
If you want to well, I could, yeah.
No, go ahead. I mean,
You're
probably
probably,
faster for you to do it.
okay. I will try to listen if there's anything on the other side. Which is a natural 20, which gives me to 24.
Okay, on a 24, are you in Bane form still? Right? You haven't shifted?
Yeah, I'm still in main form.
You kind of go up on tiptoes. You push your ear up against that floor, up against that crack, and it's not so much that you hear something, but you feel a draft, just like brush past your cheek. And you can't hear anything specific. You can hear down below. There's still that ringing of that alarm, and you can hear the cracks as the ground is definitely still disintegrating down there. But up above, there's just that draft feeling as you push your ear up to listen.
Okay, so
But you're sure you're listening pretty much as hard as you can listen.
I will share basically that there's some movement, but I can't hear a sound.
We should go for it before the flora caves beneath us.
Agreed.
Can I go under the gap and like use my shield and shoulder to like bash through harshly?
Let's do athletics. I think is going to be the best because you're going to be using your strength.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
I will not turn. I will just step back a tiny bit, not to be in the
Yeah,
way.
you're gonna want to leave some room because I do a 20.
Awkward because you're in that 3-foot gap. You kind of
Yeah.
wedge yourself into a position. What do you roll?
23.
23. With a 23, your elbow just pops up as the nails that hold that floorboard down just give, and there's a gap above you, and you continue to push, and another one gives, and you kind of work it so there's a small gap. You believe like a humanoid is going to be able to fit through this now. There is a clatter of these boards as they're pushed up, even with you being careful with your shield to kind of support them and maybe push them to the side a bit. But you now have a gap, and up above you is a starry night. Dark indigo clouds occasionally block out the tiny pinpricks of stars. And the wind rushes in and sweeps away the oppressive, stifling air that has been gathering with you in the crawl space. What do you do?
That's refreshing, and I tentatively clamber out and then reach my hand down for whoever else wants out.
I'm jumping out as fast as I can.
Yep.
I will take the hand to get the help to climb out.
I'm keeping an eye on Ivy.
Confusing thing as you step out is you find yourself on a platform supported by a tree, a huge and expansive tree. Looking down through the boards, you see the crawl space below. But looking over the edge of the platform, if you dare, you see nothing below it, except for the branch of the tree that supports it.
What's at the other end of the platform?
Did you say what's the other end of the platform?
Yeah. If I've got a tree here with a platform, I've came up to this way. What's over here?
On the other side of the platform, looking down below, way down below, 300, 400, 500 feet, your eyes just reach down. You see the tiny cottage, what would have been the original part of this house, way down below this huge tree.
I hate magic sometimes. How did we get up here?
The
I will
Fae,
stay close to the tree part because I trust trees.
the Fae like to have their fun. They're kind of
I
weirdos.
don't know.
I curl up in a corner.
I will sit next to her.
Hello, my friends. Greetings from me. Welcome to the very top of the tree. The skeleton appears leaning against the trunk.
Hello again,
Just
friend.
suddenly appeared, or if he was there all along and you didn't notice him. Sorry, what did you say, Bliss?
Hello again, friend. That's it.
Is there another way back inside?
It seems that you have lost your way. Perhaps you won't get to save the day. Poor Ishmael, poor Ishmael.
How do you know my name?
Don't you know I know your name? Because everything here is but a game. From the second you entered the Glen of Gloom, you knew you would face nothing but doom. You can't find what you're looking for. Let's face it, Ishmael, you haven't before.
The skeleton is really rude to you.
That doesn't mean I won't eventually.
Are you looking for a way down?
Yes,
way
we are. But in a smooth and safe way, friend.
You have a gift, do you not? Or is that something you forgot?
I'm gonna look at Ishmael and sort of like cock an eyebrow. This thing seems to know about us. Someone set this game up in some sort of way. We're all being played. But I'm sure if we're being played to our strengths.
I walk over. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm starting to walk over to the skeleton to inspect it.
How would you like to inspect this as a cat?
I start sniffing it, and then I start climbing it.
Okay. To you, it smells very much like magic. That's a smell that even Cat Ivy would know.
I like magic.
That strange ozone-y smell. It's slightly also got like licorice, and then it moves on to other scents. And as you begin to climb it, you reach up onto a rib, which is a nice purchase for a paw. And you're not actually a cat-sized person. You're a person-sized cat, essentially. And you rip one of its ribs out. And slowly, before your eyes, as Ivy climbs the skeleton, it begins to be pulled apart by her weight.
Can we stop her? So Bane would step forward like, Ivy, no. And
That always works in cats.
maybe dangling a ball of yarn in front of her, because she has always yarn with her or wool with her to knit. So
You pull out one of your half-made scarves, which still has the trailing yarn, and you're waving that at the cat.
yeah, just to see, get off, don't destroy him, because
Put lid into the rope.
she should still be able to at least understand.
I'm gonna let it be down to Lydia, the player. Do you take the distraction, or do you continue climbing the unstable?
Not roll the dice. I'm fine with that as well.
No, a moving distraction is always better than
Okay.
nothing. So, the cat, because that's who she is in her mind, it will take the distraction and
You kind of launch yourself a little bit backwards, and you go
go
scurrying
for the
up
rope.
to the...
Go for the lighty rope.
Bane will try to pick up one of the bones that fell down and try to put it back where it was. Really awkwardly, like, I think it was there, and
Much
see.
the same as when you replaced the hat. There's a similar kind of non-responsiveness, but
Does it stay or does it fall down
it
again?
does. It's almost as if there are magnets. Once you get it up to like just the right point, it kind of back to where it should be.
Some help, please. And I will try to figure out whatever fell down to put it back, and just like looked at the skeleton. Really, really sorry.
Well, the
She's
foot bone's
not
connected
herself.
to the ankle bone. Ankle bone's connected to the shin bone. Shin bone's connected to the knee bone.
It takes you about a minute. There are only a few bones that were knocked out, and they were fairly significant ones that the cat was using to try and get Purchase to climb. And Lydia, can you make me another intelligence saving throw, please?
I mean, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but my dice are not gonna help.
And the spell's not helping at all?
Nope.
I rolled a 6.
Oh,
6. Alright, Lydia, what does Tabaxi Ivy say to Cat Ivy?
It's just a facepalm echoing through Cat Ivy's face.
And as you know, Tabaxi Ivy tries to reach out, tries to speak, you begin to feel the cat taking over that part. You begin to lose words, to lose caring, to want to just chase the scarf. That seems like fun. Let's just do that. You know what? Screw it. And you feel your intelligence is very much on knife edge right now.
Yeah.
You're going one way or the other.
Yeah.
And so the skeleton is remade, reborn, reanimated.
So it's just us on top of this platform,
Yep.
way up, in a tree
Way up in
with
the
a
tree.
skeleton and a top hat.
With a skeleton in the top hat, the hole in the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dungeons and Dragons.
Feywild adjacent. Dungeons and Dragons.
So yeah, Lation will look again at Ishmael and say, "Is there any? Do you have any items? Was anything like tucked into your pack? Like, did you pack everything yourself? Are you?"
PSA agent.
Yeah, this. It's a long story. I don't know why or who. It's a long story. I look at the skeleton and say, "Can you tell us how to get back inside safely or not?"
You made a hole in the floor. Are you really asking me for more?
Right. All right. I'm going to go back down through the hole, and I am going to crawl to the other end of the crawl space. I've got dark vision out to 60 feet, 30 feet of movement. I want to find another way.
Curious, you're all trying to die. Wouldn't it be easier to fly?
Sure would.
It would if I could. But I'm not here to amuse you. And I start making my way back down towards the hole, to where it's busted out to crawl through.
Okay, and you go back down and it's hot, and you can hear that ringing again, that sense of an enclosed space, just the draft just occasionally dipping in and out. What is everyone else doing out on the platform?
I am sitting in front of the skeleton, looking up, trying not to be too close to any of the edges, and just nibbling on some berries.
Is there any like acorns, random little bits of bullshit up on this platform?
Random bits of bullshit. Make me a perception or investigation for random bits of bullshit.
Rolled a 12. We'll add 2 to that. Perception, 14.
Okay, on the platform you see there are some large oak leaves, and up in the very top of the canopy of the tree, which is overlooking this platform, you see there are some acorns as well.
I'm not going to try going that far. I'm going to take a copper piece out of my coin purse, cast light on it, and fling it off the side. Just to see if there's any... Does it like... Oh, by the way, this is Indiana Jones bullshit. There's actually like an invisible stairwell or something.
What actually happens is the copper piece bounces, and it bounces back into the platform as if it has hit a force field. Or a wall.
Hey, Ishmael, there has been a development. And I'm gonna, like...
Can I,
Go ahead.
No, can I just, put my hand out to where it hit?
Because you like
Feel for the
pushing
wall.
invisible walls. They've always been good to you in this place.
Uh-huh.
You
I don't
reach
know.
out,
Are
and
you sure you're not a tabaxi?
it feels like cold stone. There's a roughness to it. Something natural beyond your palm. It feels kind of damp. And as you kind of curl your fingers on it, there's moss that comes away on your fingers.
I'm gonna do the same thing to each, cardinal directions, each side. And just light, just to see if anything, if it does it all around us.
Okay, so as you kind of inspect, you get the impression you're in a room. And even as you flick a copper piece eventually up to see if there's a ceiling, you might check at some point, bounces back down. You are definitely in a room, and the room is outlined by the circular platform that you're on.
Okay, can I start like just going along the room and feeling to see if there's a gap that would be a door?
Yeah, since we're kind of coming up on hour 3, let's get a couple of quick investigation rolls from everyone who would be investigating to find a way off this platform. And Lydia, can I get a final intelligence save from you, please?
Ishmael's come back and is now helping out.
Does anyone have anything to assist in an intelligence save to help out Ivy?
Yes.
I rolled a natural 20.
Yay!
Oh god.
So with a natural 20, you feel the intellect that had been feebled, that had been pulled away by the effect that was upon you slowly begin to return. It gives you a really bad case of brain freeze for a second as it all rushes into focus and your senses kind of get that sensory overload of a migraine, and then you're back. Ivy is back in control and she has all of her faculties. She has her charisma, personality, her intelligence, her knowledge of who she is and what she is and the story so far.
I sit up.
Since I'm not helping investigating, I would be looking what the cat is doing with the rest of or with the piece of my scarf.
Okay.
I spit out the scarf that's in my mouth. Friends,
Back.
if you ever tell anyone about what happened here today in this plane, I will come and find you and murder you in your sleep.
Well, I have to say, it was
Are we
rather
clear?
interesting watching you devour an intellect devourer.
That being said, thank you.
Nice to have you back.
Thank you.
Does anyone know what rhymes with feeble?
Weeble?
Oh, good one. I ask for no reason.
Okay.
People?
I just glare at Lucian.
Ishmael, you are the first to see it. As you come to recognize the dimensions of this room and you look at it closer, the illusion begins to waver. It kind of has a translucent effect. The night fades. The tree is gone. The skeleton also seems see-through. It's almost like being on the ethereal plane. That's how you recognize this, as if you're shifting. And then, Bliss, you begin to notice it too. And as Ivy regains herself, the entire illusion drops for everyone. And you find yourself in a room, a circular room, with a staircase spiraling up off of this platform that you're currently stood upon. And you hear in the distance pop, 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 the sound that Ishmael had heard before on listening to what was above. And the stairway seems to lead to another floor. And on the floor that you're on, as you look across the space, you see there are bookcases lining the walls. And in the bookcases are jars. And down in front of one of the bookcases is a large rug with a table, and on the table there are more jars.
What's in those jars?
What's in the jar? What's in the jar?
I will not touch them.
I'm already heading up the staircase. We've been distracted for too long.
Okay, Ishmael begins up the staircase, and at the top of the staircase that circles around, you hit a door. Bliss, Latian, you checking out the jars?
I don't want to touch it, I just want to look.
Yeah, you want to look. You want to use your eyeballs, not your fingers. Got you.
Mm-hmm.
Bane, what are you doing?
First of all, happy sigh that I'm not up high but in a proper room. I will just think, oh no, glasses can't be good, and I will follow going up the stairs.
Okay. And Ivy, what are you doing?
Follow as well.
Okay. So 3 of you are going up the stairs. The 2 that remain, checking out the jars and the containers on the bookcases. You see that within these bookcases, and within the jars, which are all individually labeled, are creatures of different kinds.
I knew it.
Are magical orbs of color. One of the bookcases is full of what appears to be arcane tomes. Some of which, Bliss, you see it's druidic writing that adorns the spine. Some of it's in Sylvan. There are many, many languages adorning the spines of these books. Latian, you get close enough to one of the glass jars and you see that it's actually empty, and that's what catches your attention, because that's weird. Everything else here is full, and on it you see the label, and it actually says your name, your full name, which you haven't disclosed throughout this adventure.
Oh, I'm unhappy. I will relay, not loudly, but I will say, oh, look, a jar with my name. It's someone's trying to collect us, too.
Are there more empty jars?
Roll me an investigation.
Do we hear this up on the going up the stairs?
You hear a conversation happening. What are you doing as you hit the top of the stairs and the door?
I am checking the door for traps first.
Okay, that's an investigation. What did you get, Bliss?
I will
8.
cast guidance on investigation.
Thank you.
Latian, are you doing investigation too, or you just...
Yeah, I got 8.
Okay, what you notice is, Bliss, as you come over and look at the jar and looking for other empty ones, you actually notice the one that Latian's looking at actually has your full name on it. And you also notice, both of you, and the one next to it, are 2 monsters with great green eyes which turn and look at you. And
Like
Latian, you hear the tiniest little whispers in the back of your head. You promise. We can help you. Just let us free.
Latian, what are you talking about? This jar has my name on it.
Oh, how I do hate the fable shit. You think I'd be used
That's
to this?
unfortunate.
Yeah. Let's head up the stairs. I think we're gonna have to have a talking to just with someone. As I sip the wine from my cup.
Hoi.
The door, Ishmael, to your perception, you look for runes, you look for mechanical traps, you look for all of these things. You now are just on hyper alert. Nothing is going to escape your gaze as you inspect the crap out of this door. But you don't find anything. There is nothing suspicious about this door. You even look close enough to see if it's an illusion. And no, regular
Never
door.
again.
To your mind, it's made out of beech. It's been lacquered recently.
This is
Probably
a great
in the
door.
last, year or
Great
so,
door.
really lacquered. It's nice and tidy.
Yeah. I'm going to open the door.
You open the door, and the scene is nearly identical to the spiraling room below. More and more bookcases. Only in this space, there are also more kind of display cabinets around. It's nearly like a museum of jars full of things.
Do I see a way out of this room?
And
There is
are
another
there
spiraling staircase that continues up.
any windows?
There are small, thin windows, almost arches windows, and all of you realize that you're somehow in the tower that was on the other side of the building. But
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense with your knowledge of where you've passed through so far.
We're living in Escher's place, so I start up the stairs again.
I would try to look out one of the windows if I can. I'm not sure how high they are.
It's probably not the easiest thing for you to do, but you can either manage it with assistance or manage it by moving something for you to stand on.
Are
Or
there
by growing larger.
any chairs, anything?
There's low tables around. There's actually, you know what that would be? There would be like one of those stepping stools that you used to get up onto the higher shelves. There's probably one of those around.
She would take that one and drag it to a window and just to climb up and peek out and see if it's really the tower or something completely different.
Looking out, you see the taupey purple of the sky that you'd seen when you first arrived here. The skeletal oak trees around, and kind of peering across, you see a little bit of that ornamental garden on the way in. It seems real, and it does seem like you're now on that side of the building.
Okay.
And Ishmael, as you continue up, it is much the same all the way. And it just keeps going. A constant spiral. Up and up and up. I don't know how long until Ishmael would maybe stop to...
Probably another 2 or 3 floors.
And does he inspect every door on his way through?
He'll inspect one more. The last one he won't inspect.
Okay. You continue going, and it almost feels as if it's the same room over and over, but at the same time, there are differences. There are different things on display, different configurations. Until you get to the last door where you're kind of realizing this, and then what happens?
He just opens the door.
Another staircase, another set of bookcases and displays and jars, endless jars.
I look back down through the whole doorways of this tower stairs, and I just call back down, our princess is not in this tower. She's not in this part of the castle. And I start back down.
Or maybe she is and she's in one of these jars.
Ishmael has not paused to look at the jars, so
Nope.
Ishmael has not been aware that there are things in these jars.
Yeah, so I assume I hear, through the pipeline of people playing the game of telephone. I'll start like
Princess is not on the tower.
something about Mario and plumbers. I don't know. I'm gonna start looking at through these jars for something more relevant to a princess, etc., etc.
Yeah.
If
Thank
somebody
you.
will mention that to back up to Ishmael, he'll start looking in the room that he's in. Oh, look at the jars. Okay.
Okay, is anyone using anything special to make this easier? As there are literally hundreds and hundreds of things collected here.
Could I use locate object?
Let's look at the specifics of that spell. Maybe you can.
Yeah. Let me... Well,
Describe an object that's familiar to you. Sense direction.
it's not necessarily familiar.
Unless it's if it's basically all these jars are basically the same, so it's one of these jars that has a specific kind of label on it.
Or I would know to look for the elf,
If
the
you
half-elf.
find a jar between you that has a half elf in it, I will let you use that as an inspiration object to use the spell. So,
Gonna look.
investigations.
Is there anybody that could use a little bit of healing at the moment? Just while we're doing this?
I'm 9 down, but
Okay, that'll be...
but
I'll come over and pat you on the shoulder. It's good to have you back, and use my healing hand to give you 7 HP.
oh, thank you.
Got an 18 for lookies.
Bliss, describe to me what the display is like that you're starting investigating. Tell me what it's like.
I pull up along just the bookcase that's along the base of the first set of stairs, and I'm looking through and I'm seeing fey creatures and infernal creatures and a few undead, and I kind of just take a deep breath and focus for something amongst all the bits and pieces, the same way that I would looking for like a set of tracks in the forest. Just kind of pray.
Add to that roll, the investigation roll, your survival modifier.
Ooh. So that'd be +3 to 21.
Okay, so as you're looking, basically for a tree in the woods, for needle in the haystack here, you kind of unfocus your eyes, you refocus your eyes, you're kind of trying to figure out some system in this madness. So you can kind of track, you can figure out where the half-elf is going to be. And it takes you 3 hours. 3 hours between you of hunting through these stacks. And you're left in peace and strange quiet, which is unsettling, but you're getting about a task and there's an urgency and you're not going to stop now because where are you going to go? You have nothing to do but look for this half-elf. And you eventually find one. And they appear to be adorned in black armor. And they are about 3 inches tall inside a green wine bottle.
Cool. We can use this. Probably. Out of curiosity, what's the name on the bottle?
The name on the bottle is actually smudged. There looks as if like a finger has just rubbed across it at some point. You can make out the letters D, I, and L, but you can't make anything else out from the label. It's all too smudged and blurred.
Are most of the other labels smudged?
Some of them have been, as you've checked. Some of them are very old. Some of them are like engraved brass. It seems to change, and you couldn't find a rhyme or reason in what got the good label and then what got the older labels and stuff, but this is a fairly old label.
And does this half-elf have the strawberry blonde hair, and is it feminine in form?
No, this is a male half-elf.
Cool. So could I use this as like a starting point to do the locatey?
Yes.
Maybe?
I'm going to just quickly narrate this because we're coming up on the overtime. You get the group down together and you decide that between you're going to focus on every detail that you were told. Anyone uninterested in this, that's fine. You have your agency to not be involved. But call everyone down, get together, bring any bottles that have taken your interest if that is likely to be something your character would do. And you focus on the details that the two princes told you. And Latian, you remember in the hallway of the court, there had been a small portrait on the wall. And you'd noticed this because it had been a very pretty portrait, but it also reminded you of Arabella in a weird way. And you realized that this portrait was probably of the half-elf that you were looking for. And you bring that image to mind, and as you're kind of helping Bliss with the spell, you try not to think about Arabella because of that connection in your brain. And Bane, what are you contributing to this? Are you bringing down bottles? Are you just there to help?
I will definitely look around for bottles for anything that looks like half-elf, girl, strawberry blonde hair, green eyes, whatever I can find that would look useful.
Yep. So you've probably amassed about 3 or 4 bottles that contain other humans and creatures that have like similar qualities that you're like, that's close. I'll bring those down to help. Ivy, what did
I contribute by staying the fuck away from everything. Because there's a lot of glass jars that are very breakable.
Very breakable.
I sit on my hands. Paws. Claws. Either way, I sit on them. And rock back and forth, humming.
Ishmael.
Do we know if this half-elf female is considered part of the Fae?
Only in that she is half-elf.
Okay. Darn. She was Fae. I could actually do something about this. I'm going to be just like Bane. I'm looking for females with strawberry blonde hair, and any bottle with females with strawberry blonde hair.
Yeah.
I'm getting.
So we never got a name, correct?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
This petite strawberry blonde hair, green eyes, because name Feywild.
Here's what I'm going to do. We got the sense of these creatures being able to like still interact with us in some way. I am going to speak, not like very firmly, very clearly, and say, "We are looking for a half-elf woman with strawberry blonde hair. Please stand up."
There's a lot of movement in the room that you say this in. As creatures are awoken by the sound of voices, creatures that have been sleeping and trapped in these jars for a long time, but it is not really clear if there is one particular one that has stood up in answer to your call.
Just to be curious, the other thing next to looking around, would I see like spiders, bugs, or something like that in that tower that just live there? Because usually you have things like that in towers. And
That is the strange thing about this castle. This tower, I should say, the only creatures you can find are the ones in the jars. There are many of those, however. Many of those.
But that will not help. Okay.
And as the spell is complete, and Latian has finished calling for the strawberry blonde, please stand up. Bliss, in your mind's eye, you get the image of a bookshelf. And you get the image of books stacked either side of a glass jar. And as you kind of stretch and you're trying to like really reach into this image, this glimpse as the spell's trying to connect to what you're looking for, you see a shadow move across the room and you hear the sound of breaking glass and you hear a blood-curdling scream. And in your gut, you feel like whatever you'd connected to, the object you connected to had been destroyed. However, everyone who was not focusing on that spell, you heard the scream, and you heard a smash. If your perception is above a 15, you heard the smash. And it's above you, somewhere in the tower.
Running.
Yeah.
Is that passive perception or?
It would have been passive perception to hear the smash, you would have heard the scream.
Okay.
Everyone's high enough to have had the scream.
Yep. Running.
Yeah, same.
Something's happened. We're running.
Low-key glad I can get away from the jars.
Running. And it's one of those things where it almost feels like you're on like a step treadmill. It's just never ending. Hit a door, open the door, keep going, up and round until you're slightly dizzy. And then you hit the room, and you know it's the room because there are 3 creatures in there. 2 of shadow and 1 of feather. That's your initial impression. And the jars, you can see there are several that have been smashed on the ground. And there is a large window on this floor, which is the unusual thing that maybe captures some of your attention.
I was looking for the windows. I'm quite sure I would like, not just a small.
So we see there's 3 creatures, 1 birdish
2 of
feathered.
shadow, 1 feather.
There's no strawberry blonde hair anywhere.
Give me a perception and everyone roll for initiative as we're going to quickly wrap this up and just do an initiative.
Perception, dirty 20.
30-20. You, Latian, as you are looking, you just want this strawberry blonde hair. You want to get out of here. This is madness. This is chaos. You don't see strawberry blonde hair anywhere, but you are drawn to the petite figure silhouetted against the moon in the far, far distance as you look out of the window.
Okay. I will, sort of see that, mutter something under my breath, and point.
So she's outside of the window?
That seems to be what Lucian is saying. Lucian is just pointing out the window as far as you know.
Okay.
Looking outside the window. Ooh, see it? Yes?
Looking outside the window, you see what you think could be a shadow against the moon, but then a cloud drifts across.
Does the shadow on the moon correspond to one of the shadow creatures in the room?
Nope.
Okay.
And in this moment, Ishmael, your attention is brought into this room as the shadows launch for you. And I'm going to wrap this up because I'm just going to call it so that we're done quick. And you have to fight then and there these two shadowy creatures that try to envelop you, drawn to your inner light.
Yeah. I'm going to do it let them draw even further. I'm going to go Radiant Soul for my bonus action, or for my action. So I start to glow pure white. The wings come out, just incorporeal, luminous white wings, just unfold from my back. And I've got the bow out, and I'm ready to start firing at these things.
And you launch your assault, and it's a confined area. One of your arrows misses and unfortunately hits a glass jar, and another creature is loosed in this room. And it turns into a fight of chaos as the two shadows are swarming Ishmael. The creature of feather attacks Ivy. Bird and cat locked in a vicious assault, which both are using incredible fighting skills. Both are incredibly agile creatures. And the creature that is loosed by one of Ishmael's stray arrows envelops the room in darkness. You don't even see what the creature was as it erupts from the glass jar. And you all awaken. Bane, you are in a stool, snuggled up with a dense straw, which is warm and soft. You have made a nest of web, which you are curled up in across the straw. And looking across the aisle, you see a creature curled up tight in a ball, its features too difficult to distinguish. And in the distance you hear a familiar sound of an angry displacer beast pacing. Nation, you find yourself looking out of a stained glass window, the world distorted beyond, and you think you can see a familiar landscape, a landscape of a home that you left once. And as you come closer to the stained glass and you lay a hand above it, attempting to feel the radiance of the dawn that you can see seeping over the hills, you realize there is a painting across from you. And looking up, you see a chimney of glass. And you realize you were in a bottle on a shelf. And turning to the side, you see two green eyes looking at you. We could have helped, Lucian. Lucian? I'm good at names. Ivy, you wake up beneath a bough of twisting, gnarled, clawed branches that reach up to the sky, and a harpy hops from branch to branch. You are free, but you are feral. The voice of Ivy, the intellect of Ivy, talks incessantly, commanding you to control yourself, to snap back. You've defeated this once, you can defeat this again. But there is a shadow that chases you, and a light in the distance, and you scamper through the forests of the Glen of Gloom. Bliss. You are atop a platform. Your legs are dangling over it. You've been awake a while. You've been trying to figure out how to get down. You've been trying to figure out where to go. There weren't walls here this time. Just an expanse of night and the forest far, far below. And you sit there and you wait and you try and think of a way down. And you're glad that your friend Bane isn't here. Because you know how scared Bane is. And you think in your mind of everyone that you've left behind now. Of your sister, far away, who doesn't know where you are. Who you can't help and who can't help you. And in this moment, you feel the desolation of being completely alone. And as you kind of stand up and you pace across the platform, you see a window open. And you see the face of a woman peering in through a glass window that isn't there. As far as you're aware, like your reality is, there can't be a glass window there just floating in air. And you're like, this is an illusion, this is an illusion. But as you run towards the edge of the platform where that glass has appeared, trying to escape this room again, you feel the rush of wind that races up, and you realize, nope, this platform's very real. And you are trapped, and you have no place to go. And Ishmael, you find yourself standing on the path between stone walls. Behind you, there's a gloomy road into the forest. In front of you, there's a long driveway up to the house. So no matter how often you walk, or how far, or how many tricks you try from your skills, from your knowledge, from your gifts, it never seems to end, and you never seem to move more than a few meters, a few feet, backwards and forwards. And eventually, you grow hungry, you grow weary, and the flesh on your bones rots away through lack of care as you continue to try and make your path. And you remain a skeleton against the wall, ready and determined to warn anyone who wanders into the Glen of Gloom about the fast that they must face. And that is where we shall end it, with you all, victims of the Collector.
That was so good.
That's a great ending.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is.
Oh, damn.
Damn it.
Oh, I swear, anybody that approaches the skeleton will, if they ask, they're going to hear, call me Ishmael.
Meanwhile, in the court of the two princes, they wait beside the portal that you had taken into the Feywilds. There is always a guard stationed there to meet people who cross over backwards and forwards through this weak place between the material plane and the Fey. And they wait, and time passes, as it does. They knew it would take you a while. They'd been prepared to wait 100 years for you to return. And they had made a solemn vow that if 100 years passed and none of you returned, they would send an army. But 100 years pass, and the Fey shrine, the activator for the portal, overgrows with ivy. The guards have grown weary and tired, waiting for people that never turn up. And the story of the 5 adventurers who went in on the duty of the two princes begins to be forgotten. It's a joke. It's a spooky story for children. But on the 101st year, one of the princes has not forgotten. And despite being told he is mad, he is insane for wandering into the Feywild, he steps through, determined to fight the Collector and to bring back all those that have been stolen. And maybe we'll do a 2-shot and we'll see if you escape. Who knows?
Oh, which prince, out of curiosity?
Prince Perrin.
Oh, what a good lad.
He is a good lad.
He
He is the
is.
prince that was lost in the Feywilds himself. So he
Oh, so he gets it.
knows a little bit about it.
Oh, I want to kick somebody in the tank. As
As
Lacian,
usual.
yeah, as
Yeah.
I had all the wrong spells, the usual problem with the druid, all the options, and just like, you don't have, no, I don't have it prepared. No, I don't have that either. I
Cast
was
them too late.
for battle, not for being creative, and
I was super curious if at some point you guys would turn around and just be like, no, we're going. This is not good news, this place. But now you
I really regret not casting that protection from evil and good on Ivy earlier, because I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, we'll be all
I
right.
don't think it Well, actually, it would have given them disadvantage, but it wouldn't have affected the save, I don't think.
Actually, it does. They have disadvantage on attack rolls. They cannot be. Oh, I don't know if it would.
Yeah, I was looking at it to try and figure out. I don't think it would have done it. It would have given them advantage against the Intellect Devourer taking over her body.
Yeah. And it would have given them disadvantage on the attack roll against her.
The Feebled Mind was actually an enchantment on the bell jar itself.
Oh.
So if you wouldn't have touched it, no one
Yeah.
would have.
Yeah.
So the Intellect Devourer itself didn't want to touch that glass.
Ah,
That
interesting.
makes sense.
Yep.
And I'm sorry that I didn't let you guys fight that out to see if you would have escaped. But because of time, I just wanted to wrap it up.
Oh,
That's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's
This was a fun story.
It was a
Yeah.
fun story, and I definitely am in for a second round to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, if time permits.
With little beholder Kitty being my best friend.
Oh,
Displacer.
yes, Kitty.
I love displacers. They're so cute.
They're so cute.
I love displacers. I was like, there has to be a beast in here. Displacer! Done!
Yeah.
And there were like a couple of other places you could have gone. I really appreciated your use of locate object. I just didn't want to just give it to you.
Yeah. You gotta work for it.
Get to. But I hope you feel like your efforts were not entirely in vain, even if the odds were stacked against you as you entered the lair of a
Close.
creature who is very cunning.
No, it was totally.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't got into the fight with the harpy. We somehow managed to get past the green-eyed stuff things, so I think we didn't do too bad in the
Would
beginning.
you like to know a secret that might slightly irritate you?
Sure.
The harpy is the collector.
The only thing outside, yeah.
Man.
She.
Yeah.
Oh, the collector is a she.
Collector is a she.
Damn.
Then it's double good that
But
we
she's
didn't
not
try
just a
to
harpy,
attack
so it's a good job you didn't shoot at her.
Yeah.
Exactly, because that was the main thing. Don't hurt it.
Yep.
Don't engage it. Yeah.
Ooh.
But in good news, the petite strawberry blonde did in fact escape the collector. She, however, did not make her way back to the court of the two princes until much later, because the way she escaped the Feywild dumped her somewhere very unhelpful, and she had some stuff to deal with before she could get back home.
But she made it out. That's
She
good
did
to
make it
know.
out.
So we did succeed. We just got stuck.
Hard-treaded.
Oh.
I mean, so technically there's a reward waiting for you, I guess.
5 for 1.
One day.
Traded 5 for 1.
I mean, think of the inflation. It's been 100 years, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Alright.
the interest, is it compound interest or simple?
Nothing simple with the Fae.
But
Yeah.
hopefully at the end of the day you guys had fun. This was kind of a spontaneous one-shot because I just wanted to do something tonight and have some fun. It's been really nice getting to play with Blinn, who is a whole new person to me, and I'm so glad you messaged me and were like, "We can play."
Yeah, it was a blast.
Heck yeah.
It's been
So
Yeah.
good.
so cool to get to play with Vicky and Lydia and Kat and Ham again, who are awesome role players, and you should really check out, if the stream's still going, I don't know if anyone's watching, go and check out what Lydia is doing. She's just wrapping up some D&D in the, do you want to talk about actually, Lydia?
Yeah, I can, sure, because there's still spaces available for the Edinburgh Halloween game. So on the 31st itself, starting at midnight, the witching hour, we are going to play D&D in 18th century haunted underground vaults. I've done that throughout the last year, starting I think in April, May, every last Friday of the month. Probably going to start it up again next year, every last Friday of the month, and Halloween's going to be the big bang. So essentially, for about 5 hours, we start off with a tour, then create characters, and then try and survive the ghosts in more ways than one. So I'll
Yeah,
put
if
up a
you're
quick
in
link.
Edinburgh, can get to Edinburgh, check it out, because it's going to be awesome. I've been DM'd by Lydia, I've played with Lydia, she's great, and it's a really atmospheric place. I've been to those vaults, and they're amazing and spooky, even if like you're me, like a skeptic, it's still kind of spooky. You're still kind of like, I could get shanked down here. Vicky, do you have any games or anything you'd like to plug?
Well, Herm and I, we have a game together every second Saturday on Dungeon Crawl. We are fighting Strahd. We're trying to fight Strahd. So we are playing next Saturday and then every 2 weeks. And yeah, all other games are private, so nothing to stream. But
What time is the Curse of Strahd, Tina?
It's the same time as this game was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, sorry, no,
so
sorry.
that
It's 3 Eastern.
Right, 3 Eastern,
Yeah.
so 8 p.m. UK, 9 p.m. EU.
Yep.
Noon
1
Pacific.
p.m. Central.
Noon
So
Pacific.
weird, this time differences.
Kat, anything you'd like to plug?
Sure. On Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, I am on Twitch Madbird TV. Madbirds. We are doing a homebrew all evil campaign called Kyr's Lament. We just finished negotiating with a red dragon not to eat us, and we're currently facing cloakers, trying to get some eggs. But anyway, so that's on Twitch Madbirds. It's 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, which is probably way too early in the morning for anybody UK.
It's the same time as Critical Role, right? 7 p.m.?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever Critical Role is in your time zone, same time zone thing.
On Tuesdays. But if you don't want to watch Talks Machina, or if Talks Machina is not on, give us a watch instead.
Okay, Blynn, anything you'd like to talk about or plug?
I don't stream anything. I don't have anything that I do. I'm trying to get more involved in the community, but currently nothing from me.
So if you
Just
have a
enjoy.
game and you're looking for a really cool new player to include, contact Blynn. That is what I'm going to say. Blynn, contact with Scraticus, that's where I'm going to point you, and Encounter Roleplay. Let them know I sent you if you want. They do some really great games. They do viewer games that are great to get into. And Ham sometimes runs one-shots, and if anyone else here runs one-shot, we know who to talk to. Ham,
I'm here.
anything you'd like to plug?
The Collector with like a 45.
Face with a 9mm.
Be like, Merca! No, yeah, I do art stuff, RPG art, blah, blah, blah. Pin tweet at Hermley on the Twitters. Yeah. Do one-shots every so often. I may do one in a few weeks. I'm on vacation, and sometimes I get an itch. I may do one where Charlie gets eaten by something. Not sure
I've
what.
already been smothered by a rug. I've nearly been disintegrated. I unleashed evil on the world. I do really good in your one-shots.
This is true. Also, I specifically was not going to go anywhere near that fucking rug in that room underneath that table. I'm like, nope. Nope. But yeah, that's me. Yeah, I pop around. I'm around here and there.
But yeah, massive thank you to all of you. I hope you enjoyed our little mini adventure. If we can get another one organized at some point, I will reach out and we'll figure that out. If not, have a great time playing tabletop RPG with whoever you play with, whenever you play, wherever you play. I play Scraticus' channel Monday and Tuesday. On Monday, I DM Call of Cthulhu, and on Tuesday, I play D&D as a Kenku. And then on Wednesdays, I play Warhammer on Encounter Roleplay. And on Friday, I talk about different RPG systems, also on Encounter Roleplay. We're focusing on Warhammer at the moment. We've just done Call of Cthulhu, and we also just covered a D&D 5e supplement where you get to play dragons, which is kind of cool. That VOD is on the channel, or it'll be on YouTube. That's from 2C Gaming. Not sponsored, but I'm going to plug it anyway, because it was kind of cool. So thank you very much. Thanks to Ham for running the stream. Thank you to everyone who came by to check it out. Keep an eye on my Twitter. I will probably post that I'm doing a one-shot again pretty soon. I don't know what system, but even if it's a different system, you're welcome to say, please me, and I will sort you out. Thank you very much. Everyone have a great weekend.
Bye, everybody. Don't do drugs.